In the 60s, if you wanted to get away from Vietnam, you went to Canada. And immigration has been a part of the American story for a couple hundred years. It's in the press. You've now shown us that there's no way to leave this planet. So
you could still go to Canada.
So if, in fact, there are all these things swirling around in space that man has put up, and the environment problem and population, you've told us how long it's taken for life to evolve. How many decades, years, centuries before life extinguishes here based on mathematics of what's happening with aerosol cans, with spaceships, and with population explosion.
So how long we got, basically, before we have to...
See that we can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to make a concept. I think life is extraordinarily resilient, but humanity is less resilient. So we might mess our environment up. We might very well mess things up so badly that we don't make it. But there'll be microbes, there'll be insects, and if we're lucky, there might be voles and weasels and small birds left over. And then things will gradually come back. So I think there's very little risk that we'll destroy carbon-based life altogether. But absolutely, for all the reasons that we're concerned about, we might do some real harm to the alpha species.
But in pure astronomical terms, we've only got it's about 2 billion years, isn't it, till we wouldn't be able to live on the Earth.
Because of the, yeah, 2 billion.
2 billion, so we'd have to do this, we'd have to get off in some form.
Well, so let's consider the evolution of Homo sapiens, right? So this is, I tend to think in terms of there's a lot of scalar fallacy going on. Like people get angst-ridden over 2 billion years, and we can't even imagine 100, right? So there's this extraordinary lack of communication about what we're talking about a lot of times. And so I think when we're talking about things like human civilization being around for a while, that's very much up to us. That in order to, these aerosol cans aren't just manufacturing themselves. The red list chemicals in this building aren't just magically appearing. We're making design and engineering decisions to create toxic environments. And we have the option of actually not doing that. And increasingly, as people are realizing the actual condition of humans on Earth with all of our microbiomes and everything we're dependent on this planet, it's actually a pretty good deal for us to use our imaginations to start thinking about how to create an economy and a civilization that's much more restorative and regenerative than trying to fantasize about how we're going to build capsules to get off the planet. It's way more economically sane to think about it this way. And one of the things that we do at the Buckminster Fuller Institute is sponsor a challenge every year where we give away money, and we put out calls for projects designed to make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological offense for the disadvantage of anyone. Right? And it's happening. I mean, people are actually doing this stuff, and it's incredible what our imaginations can allow us to do. But I do think there's so much angst around all of these existential threats coming around that we tend to just take the easy path out and think, well, technology is going to save us somehow. But it's very much about our own agency, about how long we really want to be around.